Chemothany Fantano here. You see that I have hair now. We're going to address that. I went to Istanbul to see a Lil Xan concert and I got implants on the way. And then I went to Turkey again. Then I killed that turkey and I buried it in the ground. And today we're here to talk about Alex Wilcox's fresh new album, Identity Crisis, out now on BPITCH Control. Woo woo, woo woo. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow. Hey, Anthony. You didn't say you were the internet's busiest music nerd. Why didn't you do that? I'm so happy you're finally talking about Alex Wilcox. He's my favorite producer ever. He makes the best musics I've ever heard in my entire life.
Cal, stop. We're not. How the fuck did you get out?
I got out of the hole the same way I always get out, Anthony.
Get back in the hole.
You didn't even say that you were the world's busiest music nerd, Anthony. The internet's busiest music nerd.
If you don't get in that hole, I'm gonna put your head through it and then throw your foot after it.
Well, all I have to say is, I, Cal Truchesta, endorse Alex Wilcox for president.
Sorry. I've been keeping Cal in his hole for the last few weeks, and he keeps getting out. And it's causing a lot of issues with the neighbors. And pretty soon we're gonna call animal control and put him down. Alex Wilcox is a producer from Dallas, Texas. In 2019, he had self-released an album called Because the Sky is Blue. We see Alex playing with a lot of different types of sounds and moods. He has the cool song No Not Again, where you see tons and tons of his vocal chops in action, things that he does all the time now and has been doing a lot since then. But it's kind of like an early track where it actually is still quite tight and pretty impressive in terms of weaving all these little vocal chops together. And it's just cool to see kind of some of the inklings of that sound. You also have some more moody, almost indie chill songs, What You Want Me to Say, which was just kind of with a mini log and a TR8. It's just a simple melody and a cool vocal. And yeah, it's just floating on top. Good vibes. It's kind of like going down the lazy river in a raft, but a nice raft, you know? Essentially, we saw all sorts of types of different sounds, different styles. Very interesting to see what this person will do next, which was a release in 2021 on Mama Told Ya, the label from Anitha. And on this, we got some really weird sounding club, techno sort of tracks going on, which started to show more vocal chopping, more interesting arrangements, stuff that we're seeing not so often in underground techno music. And it was pretty interesting to see Alex pushing BPMs already, which honestly, I just got to rant about for a second as Anthony Fantano. The techno house world is far too annoying with BPMs. This has to stop. It's ridiculous. Like the fact that people will be like, I play at 125 and that's it. Or like, I play at 170 and that's the only tempo I like. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's just shitty. It's just not musically interesting to take that mentality, I feel. I mean, I suppose there's probably a way someone could go really deep and like really, really be like actually ultra fucking serious about that. But I feel like when people say it, it's not really that. It's more just like limited musical experience. And so like having their minds blown by the changing of a BPM. So yes, so with that aside, it's nice to see that Alex was, you know, early on. Oh, this is so obnoxious. It's nice to see that early on Alex was already fucking around a bit. He later released the EP on Trip called Always, which had a really huge banger on there, the title track Always, that was getting played everywhere with Justin JBB to Skrillex, by Nina Kravitz, by tons of, you know, bigger underground DJs like Mac Deklos and MCRT and fuck, who else was playing it? Fucking everyone was playing it. It's still getting played a lot. Another one of those tracks got put in Jamie XX's Apple mix, so that was cool. The track Woo, it's another banger from the album, or that was a 6-track EP, and that's an EP I strongly recommend checking out if you just want some really solid, amazing bangers that are just function, but also like smart and crafty. Just I think you can sense more and more in Alex's music is this sense of craftsmanship that you don't see in a lot of electronic music, where each bar is treated like a different chunk of a log that someone could use to whittle a beautiful sculpture. So you're able to have simplicity with lots of variation which creates just a very cool experience and a lot of ability to do a lot with a little, which is, yes, kind of an overused statement, but he's really actually fucking doing it. I mean, listen to the song, I Think I Know I Am. I heard that even when he was listening to it on export, he felt uncomfortable about how sparse it was. But when you listen to it, the shit bangs, it's a good time. And it really takes that vocal editing we mentioned earlier and just pushes it. Stretching a bit more, he did a music video, he did a thing on Boys Noise where he lights himself on fire. And then he dropped the Bang 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 EP, which is 8 tracks, really not quite an album. It felt more like a conglomerations of tracks put together, like not in a super thoughtful way. I mean, somewhat thoughtful, but it feels more of like a sampling platter of like, look what this guy can do. We got a lot of interesting tracks on there. We've got The Goods, which is, I believe it's around 150, 160, and it's just having a nice, big, chopped vocal melody with big, simple to understand, and very satisfying melodies hitting on the B sections, where we have synths opening up, we have very nice delays happening. It's nice because it still feels like a very kind of niche and underground vibe, but it has that big pull. I had one too many vegan cookies. Okay, woo! But it has that kind of pull that you don't get in most of that underground stuff, because most of it sucks, and that's just kind of the truth. So basically, as we keep moving on, there's also a really cool track, the title track, Bang Bang Bang, which showed Alex teaming up with Thomas Harrington Rawl and his group Doberman to make a super tight music video where basically Alex is an avocado and he's on a date with a tomato, and they basically appear to go on like a weird acid trip through London on an odd date that ends up with shots and then perhaps violent sex. It's a very weird video, and it's worth checking out. And the track itself is a banger. This is where you start to feel more and more to where we're getting with Alex's new release, which is Identity Crisis. But yeah, Bang Bang Bang's just a really cool track. It works at all the fucking clubs when Alex plays, even in the festivals. The people say the words back to him. It's very exciting. And it has a punk feel to it. And it has a faster BPM. I think it's, 180, 185. Again, I had the fortunate ability to interview Alex at one point, and like a lot of interviews were done. So I know his thoughts on the track better than anyone. It's pretty cool. That's why you come to me. That's why you give me those Patreons. That's why you Upworthy and subscribe. That's why you do it, because I give you that shit. I give you that shit, okay? So, with that said, he just felt very annoyed with how, again, annoying people were being about BPM. I mean, people were fucking creaming their jeans when they heard you could go to 150. And then when someone did 155, they were like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Is the world falling down? Is God angry? Alex was just going, what the fuck is this shit, you guys? Like, it's music. You can do that, you fucking idiots. Like, everyone stop freaking the fuck out. And basically, after that, he decided, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn up the BPM and just go nuts and be like, yo, have y'all listened to punk rock music? That shit's very fast. I mean, or it can be very fast. So like, chill out. Whew. Yeah, sorry. He was like he was telling me that story so many times. So I just really get into it when he talks about it. But yeah, there's Bang Bang Bang, a great track and a very cool track because it shows Alex also progressing more into this punk area, this punk electronic sort of fusion. That brings us to Identity Crisis. Now, this album is really cool. And frankly, it's really nice to see someone in the techno world taking the album seriously, because it seems like so often these days, the focus on who becomes popular, who gets, paid, who gets to, live off of a job involved with music. And it seems like in that world, it's more and more feeling like short content, cheap things that look nice for a moment, but when you push it down, there's nothing behind it. And yeah, kind of this, I think of it well, I think this is a term that makes sense. It's kind of like the billboard street when you look at artists in electronic music, particularly like the techno world. In my opinion, it's just billboards with nothing behind it for most of these people. And so it's nice to see someone really go in on an album that's doing some interesting sounds. So we have heavy influence on this aggression, this despair, this sort of Southern Gothic feeling mood that's pressed upon this album. By that, I mean, think of No Country for Old Men, or think of like a Cormac McCarthy book, like book. It's got a grimness to it, but it also has an aggression to it. And yeah, it's an interesting album, and it's opening up with the track Shut the Fuck Up, which basically sounds like someone took huge riffs back from Rage Against the Machine and then boosted them up to the tits, and then was able to put in a huge kick drum underneath it that makes it sound and feel like you're in a club. Like it hits hard enough that you could be in a techno club. I mean, these kicks have huge low end, and they're just chonking people 90s. In the face. This is not guitars that you would get in like Smashing However, the guitars on top kind of like a more refined sounding Black Flag, or maybe some Soundgarden, stuff like that. Like just big guitars on top of huge big kick. And then you get this vocal that comes in that feels very punk. It's just this guy, this Alex Wilcox guy, saying shut the fuck up, but each word is glitched, which is very interesting because it creates this weird precision yet with a delay. Like it's a precise delay sort of effect that you're getting. It's like shut and it's a very just interesting sound. And again, you've seen Alex doing this in the past already with his vocal choppings, but it's cool to hear it in this context. And then you have B sections where you just have synths that are just exploding. It just sounds like someone dumped battery acid on it, torched it in a fire, and then threw it into a bunch of vegan cookies. It's just a crazy banger, and when he performs it live, it looks like the crowd just goes nuts and starts yelling the words back at him, and it's a really good time. Followed up by that, we've got two tracks back from the Bang 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 era. We have Bang 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 itself, and then Hey Hey It's Okay. Fun mention for Hey Hey It's Okay. It was during that track that at one of Alex's shows, he jumped off of a huge speaker stack that was perhaps 3 meters, 12, 15 feet tall, into a tree, and then fell out of the tree, but he somehow landed, but he like fucked up his leg. And then he ran back and continued the set. It was really crazy. It was, yeah, maybe I can link that video or put it in here or something. But yeah, just to show how fun his shows are, and to show that if you're out there thinking, fuck, I wish I could book Alex Wilcox, you can. Because, wow, what else do we know about this guy? He joined Little Big Music Agency, which is founded by Ned Beckett, and it's a sick electronic music agency that has Aphex Twin, Outerker, all sorts of people on there. And Alex is signed to there, and Ned is his agent, so you should hit him up, and he'll do some crazy shit at your shows. And you can talk to him about insurance, too, because that could be a concern for some people. With that said, afterwards, we are just moving right along. For some reason, I can't remember the exact track list, but I'm going to generally go with how I remember it. We have Funking Funk, which is a sick, really cool banger that reminds me of Homework era Daft Punk, where you have this really nice, like acoustic top, but thumpy and curt low end, and it's just banging in there. And then on the bottom, you have what sounds like a bass guitar just playing a simple bass line. It's very just fun. It's fast. It's chugging along. And it's almost like if LCD Sound System was shoved into a Berlin techno club in terms of aesthetics. But then it also like took some fun from Daft Punk and some kind of that acoustic feel that you get in some of their music, where you have a sense of glitter, a sense of analog, a sense of warmth, whatever you want to call it, a sense of, it's just like a warm glow that glosses the mix. And it almost feels retro in a way, yet it's still big enough to be playing in clubs in today. And This track is really fun. Another good call and response. Simple vocals that just build up. There's nothing too crazy about the vocals here. It's just cool layering to build up from a single vocal into crowds going, what? Yeah. What? Yeah, 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 yeah. One of the very cool parts about this track is that it makes one of the most abrupt stops I've heard in electronic music. You have the track is going, building, building. And then it immediately brick walls, like it -5 millisecond brick walls, and then simultaneously is flipped around to turn into a very sweet, a very beautiful chord progression that just floats. It's just floating pads. The drums are gone. You have mystic, you have wonder, you got rainbows and space type of vibes. And it's just a very nice, sweet ending to the song. This is the longest song on the album, and I think it's cool because it shows not only is there the ability to make a banging track that's catchy, that's cool, that just vibes really hard and is original sounding, but it also has the ability to get very sweet and, you know, tuck you in as you're going to bed. And I think that sort of songwriting is interesting and would like to hear more of that in the current techno scene, because it just feels like it's a very lazy scene where you have people pushing out lazy shit all the time. So, okay, with that being said, we're going to move on to Identity Crisis, the title track. So this one's cool, and it's a slow track, and it's actually the oldest one from the album. It was made in Hamtramck, and it was, I believe, during COVID, and Alex was feeling very not great and just remembered walking down Hamtramck and probably chain smoking, or at least just constantly smoking cigarettes, and going, you know, fuck, this sucks. And just feeling like that, and then making a track. And it's cool. It's very slow, but it's creepy and it's unsettling, and it's covered in augmented chords, played on guitar, played on weird sounding haunted house, but not corny bass. And it's almost like Primus, Les Claypool bass lines that are then mixed with kind of Aphex Twinny in a way, with the creepiness and with some of the programming going on. But at least from what Alex has referenced, because I'm just going to quote him here, from what he has heard, it's just a pretty weird dark sound. It also is a bit reminiscent of Portishead, but it just feels like existential, and it feels like just inevitable dread. And it is quite a song, and it's not one you like play for your mom when you want to wish her a happy birthday, you know? It's probably the one you play after she kills herself, you know? Something like that. But moving on, we've got Liberty, which weird groove, weird rhythm, kind of reminiscent of the Bang 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 EP. It's cool. It has a nice little interpolation at the end that's very cool, where we have once again a big mood swing happening, where we go from abrupt, rickety, jittery, like off-kilter punk with huge drums, and then it somehow glimpses into like ambient disco, and then goes underwater in an ambient disco form, only to reemerge like the form from before, except after railing a bunch of speed and just being super fucking gone. It's a crazy one. Yeah, I mean, this album's got so many bangers. I Hate All of You's on there, where Alex makes fun of the music scene, or the more specifically like the DJ scene he's involved with, and it just bangs hard. And it's funny because Alex played this one at Zoila, and it's making fun of people at Berghain, and even there, though, the shit was banging. I was lucky enough to go to the show. It was really fun. I just flew out there for it. And yeah, I brought some of my vegan cookies with me. And basically, it was like, you see when Drake and his friend went to Berghain? It was before that. So, you know, Drake heard about this set and was like, I gotta get over there, you know. Fuck Drake, though. Maybe we'll just cut that out. Whatever. There's a lot of highlights on this album. You have Fuck That, which you gotta see the music video for it. In it, Alex is wearing his new machine called the Death Machine 4000. It's really crazy. It feels like Alex is taking the idea of and the majesty of those Daft Punk helmets, but turning it into a nightmare scenario. It's more futuristic because now it's dealing with AI. So it's actually, in a way, perhaps futuristic is less the word. It's more extremely present in the sense that it's got one of the top AI artists, Thomas Harrington Rawl, working on insane graphics on these screens that are synchronized to the music. And Alex is able to use this at shows. And it's pretty cool. And it feels like, again, like from someone who was often just playing with other DJs, now when you go see an Alex Wilcox show, you see this guy running around. He's covered in sweat because he's fucking working. And he's getting the crowd going. He is throwing shit at them. He's pushing them around. He's taking their stuff off of their heads. He's jumping off of speaker stacks. He's doing all sorts of shit. And he's climbing up balconies, you know? He's shaving his hair, putting it in a bag and throwing it at everybody. It's pretty full on. And so it's just really cool that he's also now adding this new dimension where after all of this chaos has occurred, you then see him emerge in the Death Machine 4000 at the end of shows. So this is new. Alex has only done this at 3 shows, and he hasn't really announced it yet because he's really trying to make sure it's good enough, you know, because it's, he didn't know anything about building shit like this, and he's had to figure it a lot out. But I guess it happened because he got hit by a bus, and it just really fucked him up. And so it's a long story. Album ends on ZZZZZ, which again is fucking great. It's like a cyborg screaming for its life while getting flushed down a massive toilet. You know, it's spinning around, its arms are up, and it's just fucking squealing. And that's just distorted. Then it comes in with these sick, thick synthesizers that sound like, again, those 90s grunge guitars, but then converted into 2035 limited, crispy, full-on, chunky synths that are also just tickling you. Then you have this sort of what feels like a nod to Fitter Happier by Radiohead. You have this voice talking about like how happy the person is, but it's fucked up sounding, and it's, yeah, you can decide it, but when you hear it, you go, oh, you're lying to me right now. Like, it's obvious that the voice coming is not telling the truth. And that's kind of an interesting thing to feel because it gives you a bit of that sense of denial. Yeah, and so you get all that hit at you, only for the track to take a huge change and go to this very interesting, catchy, bouncy, like a party in the jungle surrounded by kiwi plants. I don't even know if those grow in jungles, but that's kind of the vibe. It's very good. But then the track changes again, starting to increase in BPM until it turns into a quick 150-ish sort of aggressive modern, when I say modern, I mean present day, like a very aggressive present day techno in terms of like large kick, offbeat bass, nothing like just pads, basically those things, and nothing too insane, but the aesthetics of them and the chord progression choices and this creates a very unique vibe that is not seen so often. And the chords tell a bit of a story here, so it's not just a simple 1 chord, 2 chord, 1 chord, 2 chord, or 1 chord, or 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord. It has a more interesting, it just has a more dynamic journey. And so you're able to follow it, and it is reminiscent a bit of Drexcia tracks where you can get bangers, but also have a whole story to follow. And so this is an interesting thing that we've got going on here, only for the track to then change again at the end, where it has this very nostalgic kind of melancholy, psychedelic chord progression happening, and then you have it switch into a very unsettling diminished chord. So it just creates a lot of dissonance inside of you, and that diminishment is just really beautiful. It feels very frightening. It feels very deeply sad. It just feels like someone who gave up hope a long time ago. And it's just this dreary ending. But it was mixed with nostalgia prior to. And yeah, it's just a very weird way to end this album. But I like it. Because again, even though there's high energy here, even though there's excitement and in a way fun, there's also just a lot of pain in this music. And it felt appropriate to me that the album's called Identity Crisis, because even sonically, you can see so much powerful emotions in many different directions, whether it's kind of a fun, light-hearted on the beginning of Funking Funk, followed by ending of ZZZYYY, where you're having this gloom and mixed with hope and nostalgia, but also this sense that you don't actually believe it. Meanwhile, you've also got just some big bangers like Hey Hey It's Okay that are kind of cool feeling. It's just got a lot of different emotions going on. And so to end on a track that touches on so many different emotions, it brings about a lot of the feelings one might feel when in a state of identity crisis. And in that way, I like having the weird ending, because times like that, Alex tells me, could be quite weird and can just feel very uncomfortable. And yeah, it's just an interesting place to be. So yeah, all in all, I'm going to give it a strong 8 to light 9. And that's all we got. Alex Wilcox, Identity Crisis, forever.